What did you call him? Will?
I accidentally said Pinwheel, yeah.
Pinwheel, or AKA Pinhead.
I'm never going to live that down.
You're never gonna live that down. Richard Blake, which is in Three from Hell. He was also the Night King in Game of Thrones. If you're a professional wrestling fan, you got Dan Housing. Very good, very evil. You have the most popular Kane, the most popular Jason, Kane Hodder. Sorry I'm sniffling so much. He's going to be doing a special photo op Saturday as Jason X, but Sunday is where it's at. He's going to be doing the 8-bit Jason from the Nintendo 64 game. Let's see.
Super Nintendo.
I said 64, didn't I?
Yeah. That's a couple years later.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about Rose McGowan.
Yes, Rose McGowan. McGowan's going to be there. She's from Scream, Charmed, Jawbreaker, and the one-legged girl from Grindhouse. You have the one, the only Bill Moseley, Mr. Chop Top himself, or Otis from the Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell, House of a Thousand Corpses. Todd, you want to tell him about the guy that you're looking forward to meeting?
Yeah.
Jeff Daniels Phillips.
Yeah, Jeff Daniel Phillips. Jeff Daniel Phillips just played Herman Munster in Rob Zombie's Munster movies, but he's also been in pretty much everything Rob Zombie's done. 31, Halloween 2, he was in Lords of Salem. And for those that are old enough to remember, he was the caveman in the Geico commercials.
Was he? I totally forgot about that.
That's funny.
That's so fucking funny. We're not going to go into all the other guests, but another big one is Heather Langenkamp. Brought her up because A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
But it should be fun. It should be real fun. If you're there and you see us, say hey. You probably don't even know what we fucking look like, but we'll probably be wearing some of our...
we'll be repping some merch.
We'll be wearing some horrible podcast merchandise. Merch. Speaking of merch, yes, if y'all get a second, check out TeePublic, Horrible Podcast. We've got like 7 designs up. We got a black metal 1 and 2 logo. We have our DJ Death shirt.
We have the Pizza Pockets logo.
We have the Pizza Pockets. That was a funny one I just put up there. The Horrible Fans and many more. I think they're on sale this week, so give us a... I was about to say a ring-a-ling, but give us a...
Give our ding-a-ling-a-ring-a-ling.
Come on and ring-a-ling if you want some ding-a-ling.
Stupid.
Give us a ring-a-ling, and we'll give you that ding-a-ling. Alrighty.
You're only one click away.
You're only one click away. Alright, Todd. Let's get to talking about your millennial list.
Alright, well, I sat down and I went through movies from 82 to 84 that I thought was the most profound and important in the genre. Maybe not even my favorite as far as how I listed them or ranked them, but important to us as millennials during that time period, right?
Right.
So here we go. So I started off the list from 1989. At number 10, I put Pet Sematary.
Great movie.
My brother was named after that movie.
Oh, yeah?
His name's Gage.
Well, there you go. That,
oh, my God. Gage.
That shows you right off the bat. Influences, people. Influences.
Right.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. It's probably one of my favorite pet movies.
Yeah. So at number 9, I put a movie that really kicked off a lot of what we see today. And before this, you really didn't get a whole lot. You really didn't get a whole lot of the horror comedy. So from 1985, I put Return of the Living Dead.
That is an amazing movie. Do you think it's just recently starting to get the love that it deserves?
No, I think it's always had the love. But it's almost like every film is getting more love because there's more platforms to give it love. Because back then, it was only like, if you didn't really watch these films, you didn't know what they are. But now there's so many platforms. You got YouTube, you got TikTok, you got Facebook, it's all kinds of shit that you can, pay tribute, and people are discovering it for the first time. People that already have loved it for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's underrated, and I don't think it's underappreciated. It's just you see more of the appreciation now.
Okay, yeah. That's a pretty good point. Brains.
So coming in at number 8, I put from 1990, and I had to put this on there because it's very influential, and that is It.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the second Stephen King adaptation I put on there. Not only did this influence clowns and how scary they can fucking be, but it kind of started, it didn't start off, but it was kind of like the pinnacle of those Stephen King television miniseries. Because a lot of people don't realize that, they describe them, they go, Stephen King movies. Well, a lot of these wasn't movies. They were just television series that were split up in 2 parts.
Miniseries,
Now they're known as movies, You usually can buy them together and, whatever, fuck. But back in the day, I remember when the first DVD of It came out, the first half was on one side, and you had to flip the disc over to see the second.
Wow.
I remember that too.
I also remember there was a double taped VHS, where the first part was on the first VHS and the other one was on the second part. Titanic was released like that too.
So. And Braveheart.
Yeah, so a lot of those long movies, Casino was like that.
Yeah, Gump.
Yeah, nowadays we got so much technology, it just plays on through, and you never know when one cuts off and the other one begins.
Yeah.
But, I think it was a very important film because...
Oh, absolutely.
For a lot of the kids that could not go to theaters and see horror films, that was kind of like their first exposure because it was on television.
Right.
And seeing that fucking clown probably scared the shit out of them.
It did, especially the teeth and everything, and how
and knowing that film is not even rated R or anything like that. I mean, it had to be it had to be formatted for a television program. So
so it couldn't be rated R.
Yeah, even today, if you go back and you look at it, there's no cussing, hardly. There's no blood. There's no hardly anything, which makes it even more impressive that it became as big as it is. I think the 2017 it had a much more of an advantage because they could slide in all the gory stuff. They could slide in all the, the 4-letter words or whatever.
Yeah, they could go further with the movie version of it than they could the television version. Like you see Georgie go missing, but in the movie you see Georgie fucking get eaten.
Right.
I mean, and that was like the big shocker of the remake for a lot of people. And both Tim Curry and what's his name?
Bill
Skarsgård are amazing its, but Tim definitely set the bar for every clown. Looking at you, Art.
Every time I think of it, I just have to laugh because I was that big mean sister that made my little sister watch it. She's 6 years younger than me. So I had her watch it one night, and she was so scared she had to stay in the room with me to sleep with her big sister.
Wow.
Yeah. I had her watch all kinds of horror movies to scare the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Such a good sibling.
I am. Made her tough.
I can't... I think Pennywise was maybe the first legitimate terrifying clown. Like, you had clowns before, but it was kind of just like, After him, it was like, no, these fuckers can legitimately be scary.
Yeah, I know some people are going to be like, what about Poltergeist? I really wasn't.
That was one scene.
Yeah, I know.
That was one scene, and it wasn't. It was like a toy coming to life.
Yeah, I know.
It's not like a entity taking the form.
But what about killer clowns?
And the cool thing about Pennywise is that Pennywise really wasn't a clown. That's just what he chose to present himself to look like, because
Right.
he's going after children, and what is associated with children?
Clowns.
Clowns.
Clowns, huh? Not to mention, he was very charming
Yeah, yeah.
and funny, but then, like, when he broke the charmingness and then, got that, that straight, stare, and, like, his neck kind of, like, arches up.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just fucking creepy.
Yeah, it's almost like a fucking snake, arches up and is about to strike. So
Yeah.
Anyway, you'll appreciate number 7. Number 7 is from 1984, and I put Gremlins.
Absolutely fucking love you.
Well, when you talk about influential and you talk about people looking back on their childhoods, this is going to be a very fond memory.
No shit.
Because, it's a gateway movie into, more gory stuff, more serious stuff, but
Yeah.
people our age look back and go, yeah, goddamn, I remember Gremlins. I love that shit.
Yeah,
So-
I know. Well, for me, obviously, it's you people don't know, but I like the majority of my horror collection is Gremlins.
I was gonna say the other half of this room is nothing but Gremlins merch.
Yeah, like I don't know what it is about that movie. It's just something that captivated me as a kid, and it just I don't know. I mean, how can you not fucking love Gizmo? I love him so much. He's tattooed on my fucking
I
arm.
was literally about to say that.
I mean, like, it's just one of those movies. Like, the funny thing, for the most part of the movies that you've named, they're not very, like, graphic or gory and stuff like that. And it leaves a lot to the imagination, and that's the great thing about Gremlins. You have, like, the cute, but you have the scary. Just like with It, you have Tim Curry where he's funny and humorous, and he captivates you, and then, like, he scares the fucking living shit out of you at the same time. And, with Pet Sematary, of course, you have everything living and everything, and you have the happy family, and then, it gets very dark and grimace. And that's what I guess that's why a lot of people like Gremlins so much, is that it's such like it's a film that you can watch with your brother, your sister, your kids, by yourself, and just enjoy it. But a kid seeing it for the first time, it's a great gateway to horror, because you have Gizmo to where they can get behind, and then you have the Gremlins that might scare them, and then it goes downhill from there. It might give you a couple of nightmares. It gave me a couple of nightmares as a kid. But it's just one of those enjoyable movies.
Gremlins is one of those that... So my mom hated horror movies. She would refuse to watch them. But Gremlins and Pet Sematary were two of the only ones that she allowed us to watch, like, as a family growing up.
Which is crazy, because, like, the original concept behind Gremlins was, like, supposed to be, like, rated R. Like, Gizmo was supposed to turn into Stripe, and he was supposed to, like, kill the mom and eat the dog, and there was supposed to be like a hanging scene, and like he was supposed to be like over the top, gory and violent, and then he saw Gizmo and like changed the whole concept of the movie, and I'm so glad he did.
Yeah, and if you think about movies that came after it, like the Ghoulies and Critters and stuff like that, they went a little bit more far, but not much far from the concept of what we got with Gremlins. We didn't get critters biting off people's fucking heads. We got, basically just a little bit more. If you weren't fooling with shit, you wouldn't have done that, you idiot.
I hit my head. I'm sorry.
But yeah, what my point is that many other films like Ghoulies and Critters could have went that horror direction and made them horrible, but they didn't. They copied Gremlins, which was the family style.
And a lot of movies still copy the format of Gremlins, with the cute and the scary.
Right. And, it's just crazy that we've never got somebody who, like, we're going to make these little fuckers, like, menacing and all this. No, they've all been patterned after Gremlins.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think Gremlins would have had the success that it had with the original concept.
No, not at all.
They certainly wouldn't have built a reputation. Because, I mean, when I was a kid, there was a lot of Gremlin memorabilia. You could buy books and, like, kid books. And I remember I bought a book that came